Imagine realizing that everything holding you back in life is just an illusion created by your own mind. Picture the ego as an invisible chain, a mind construct that often limits your true potential. In this video, we'll dissect this concept, helping you identify these barriers and providing practical steps to break free from them. Stick around to the end to uncover a powerful technique to help you transcend your ego and unlock the life you've always dreamed of. Understanding the ego. The concept of the ego is both fascinating and complex. The ego is our internal sense of self, the mental construct we believe to be me. The voice in our head constantly narrates our lives, shapes our identity, and influences how we perceive the world. From a psychological perspective, the ego serves as our self-image. It's like an internal manager, helping us navigate life by creating a consistent identity. This identity is formed based on our experiences, memories, and feedback from others. For example, if you're told repeatedly that you're smart or talented, your ego incorporates this into your self-image, and you start to identify with these traits. The ego's role is significant because it affects almost every aspect of our behavior. It dictates how we think about ourselves and others, how we react to situations, and what we strive for in life. It's what drives us to seek recognition, validation, and success. However, this internal voice can also be limiting. It often resists change, clings to comfort zones, and fears anything that threatens its established identity. One of the most intriguing aspects is how it develops and evolves. We begin to form a sense of self from the moment we are born. As infants, we distinguish ourselves from our surroundings and other people. This sense of separation is the beginning of the ego. As we grow, our interactions with family, friends, and society shape our self-concept. Compliments, criticisms, successes, and failures affect how we see ourselves. However, it doesn't always present an accurate picture. It often creates a false sense of self by making us believe we are defined by external factors, our achievements, possessions, and status. For instance, if your ego identifies strongly with your job title, losing that job can feel like losing a part of yourself. This false sense of self leads to constant comparison and competition, driving a never-ending quest for approval and success. While the ego can't be eradicated, it's a fundamental part of who we are. It can be managed. The key is awareness. By recognizing when the ego influences our thoughts and actions, we can take a step back and question its narratives. We can ask ourselves whether our reactions are genuinely beneficial or driven by a need to protect our self-image. Managing the ego involves shifting our focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. Practices like mindfulness and self-reflection help us observe our thoughts without getting caught up. By cultivating inner peace and self-acceptance, we can reduce the ego's grip on our lives and start living more authentically. The impact of the ego on our lives. Transitioning from understanding the ego, let's delve into its profound impact on our daily lives. The influence of our self-image is pervasive, often driving behaviors and decisions in ways we may not even realize. This internal force manifests in numerous ways, usually leading us down paths that may not serve our best interests. One of the most common ways our self-image influences us is through ego-driven behaviors. These behaviors are characterized by a constant need for validation, recognition, and superiority. For instance, someone might strive always to be right in arguments, not necessarily because they're passionate about the topic, but because their sense of self-worth is tied to being perceived as knowledgeable or competent. This need for validation can lead to strained relationships, as the person may be overbearing or dismissive of others' opinions. Living a life driven by these needs can have several adverse effects. It often leads to stress and anxiety, as the person is in a perpetual state of trying to prove themselves. Additionally, it can cause isolation, as others may find it challenging to connect with someone who is always focused on self-promotion. Over time, this behavior can erode trust and intimacy in relationships, as interactions become more about competition and less about genuine connection. Consider some everyday examples of ego-driven behaviors and their consequences. A manager who refuses to delegate tasks because they believe no one else can do the job as well as they can may find themselves overworked and burnt out. Their team, meanwhile, may feel they need to be more valued and motivated. Similarly, someone who constantly seeks to outshine their peers at work or in social settings might achieve short-term success, but at the cost of long-term relationships and personal satisfaction. Recognizing the signs that your self-image is in control is crucial for personal growth. Some common indicators include an excessive need for praise, difficulty accepting criticism, and a tendency to compare yourself to others constantly. When our actions are driven by these needs, we often react defensively to perceived slights, leading to conflicts and misunderstandings in relationships. For example, a minor disagreement with a friend can escalate if one person feels their identity is being challenged. This need for self-protection often contributes to conflicts in relationships. Misunderstandings arise when individuals focus more on defending their self-image than truly listening and empathizing with others. This can create a cycle of defensiveness and aggression, making resolving disputes and building deeper connections hard. Moreover, this internal force limits personal growth and fulfillment by trapping us in a cycle of fear and insecurity. When overly concerned with maintaining a particular image, we may avoid taking risks or trying new things that could lead to failure or criticism. This fear of vulnerability prevents us from experiencing genuine growth and achieving our potential. Instead of pursuing our passions and dreams, we stick to safe, familiar paths, reinforcing our self-concept. Recognizing the ego's traps. Now, let's understand the impact of our self-image, delve into the specific traps it sets, and learn how to recognize them. Our internal sense of self is adept at creating pitfalls that lock us in unproductive and often harmful patterns. By becoming aware of these traps, we can better navigate our lives with authenticity and fulfillment. One of the most insidious traps is pride. This manifests as an inflated sense of self-importance, leading us to overestimate our abilities and minimize the contributions of others. It makes accepting feedback or acknowledging mistakes difficult, hindering our growth and isolating us from meaningful connections. Jealousy is another common trap. It occurs when we constantly compare ourselves to others. This leads to feelings of inadequacy and resentment, consuming our thoughts and making it hard to appreciate our achievements. It breeds negativity and strains relationships. The need for validation is the most pervasive trap. When our self-worth is tied to external approval, we depend on others for our identity. This drives us to seek praise and avoid criticism, leading to inauthentic behavior as we conform to others' expectations rather than staying true to ourselves. Recognizing these traps requires self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotions and reactions. Do you feel defensive when criticized, envious of others' successes, or constantly seeking reassurance? These are signs of being caught in an ego trap. The impact on our mental and emotional well-being can be profound. Constantly seeking validation leads to anxiety and emptiness. Jealousy creates a cycle of negativity, and pride isolates us, stunting our growth. These traps make our self-image fragile and dependent, causing reactive and defensive behaviors. One reason it's challenging to recognize when our self-image influences our behavior is our subconscious nature. We might not realize our actions are driven by a need to protect or enhance our self-image. Social reinforcement also plays a role, as society often rewards ego-driven behaviors, perpetuating the cycle. Ego traps hinder authentic connections. Focusing on maintaining a certain image prevents us from being present in our interactions, hiding our true thoughts and feelings out of fear of judgment. This lack of authenticity prevents deep, meaningful relationships and genuine intimacy. Understanding and addressing these traps is crucial for a more authentic, fulfilling life. Recognizing the influence of our self-image and how it shapes our behavior allows us to break free from these limitations, leading to genuine self-acceptance and deeper relationships. Spirituality and true freedom. Transitioning from recognizing the ego's traps, let's explore how spirituality and self-realization can help dissolve these ego-driven barriers. Spirituality offers powerful tools and insights to reduce the influence of our self-image, allowing us to connect with our true selves and achieve a more profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Spiritual practices often aim to diminish the ego, fostering a sense of unity and connection with the world. Different spiritual traditions approach the concept of the ego in unique ways. For example, Buddhism teaches that the ego is an illusion and promotes practices like meditation to see through this illusion. Through the teachings of Advaita Vedanta, Hinduism also emphasizes this illusory nature of the ego, encouraging the pursuit of self-realization to recognize the oneness of all existence. Various spiritual practices aid in the dissolution of the ego. Meditation and mindfulness help quiet the mind, allowing us to observe our thoughts without attachment. Yoga combines physical postures, breath control, and meditation to promote self-awareness and inner peace. Contemplative practices in Christianity, such as prayer and silent retreats, encourage introspection and a deepening connection with the divine. The journey towards self-realization transforms our relationship with the ego. As we deepen our spiritual practice, we see the ego for what it truly is, a construct of the mind rather than our true essence. This realization brings a profound sense of freedom, as we no longer feel bound by the ego's demands and limitations. We become more compassionate, open, and connected to others, leading to more authentic and fulfilling relationships. Living beyond the ego opens up a world of possibilities. We experience life with greater clarity, peace, and joy. Free from ego-driven limitations, we become less reactive and more resilient, able to navigate challenges gracefully and with stability. authenticity becomes our natural state, fostering deeper connections and more meaningful interactions. Maintaining a state of ego-free living in a world that often reinforces the ego can be challenging. Society frequently rewards ego-driven behaviors, making slipping back into old patterns easy. However, ongoing self-awareness and spiritual practice can help us stay grounded. Regular meditation, mindfulness, and self-reflection keep us attuned to our true selves, preventing the ego from regaining control. The journey of self-awareness and personal growth is ongoing. It requires consistent effort and commitment, but the rewards are immense. Each step toward ego dissolution brings us closer to true freedom, allowing us to live authentically and fully. By embracing this journey, we open ourselves to infinite growth, connection, and fulfillment possibilities. Understanding the role of spirituality in ego reduction and the benefits of living beyond ego-driven limitations empowers us to lead more meaningful, authentic lives. The path may be challenging, but the destination, a life of true freedom and self-realization, is well worth the effort. Embarking to understand and manage the ego is nothing short of transformative. It's about unlocking a life of authenticity, connection, and genuine fulfillment. The ego, that internal voice shaping our thoughts and actions, often traps us in pride, jealousy, and a relentless quest for validation. These traps lead to stress, anxiety, and strained relationships, but recognizing and addressing them is the first step toward liberation. Spirituality provides powerful tools to dissolve the ego's grip. Meditation and mindfulness help us see beyond the ego, connecting us with our true selves. By embracing vulnerability and cultivating self-compassion, we live authentically and form deeper, meaningful relationships. Imagine a life where you're no longer driven by the need for approval or the fear of judgment. Living beyond the ego means experiencing greater clarity, peace, and joy. While it can be challenging to maintain this state in an ego-driven world, ongoing self-awareness and spiritual practice keep us grounded and true to ourselves. Conclusion. This journey of self-awareness and growth is ongoing, but every step forward brings immense rewards. By understanding and managing the ego, we unlock the potential for a life filled with true freedom and fulfillment. Embrace this journey, break free from the limitations of the ego, and discover the incredible possibilities that await when you live from your true self. If you're inspired to dive deeper into spiritual knowledge and personal growth, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. By joining our community, you'll get more insights and practical tips to help you on your journey to a more authentic, fulfilling life. Stay connected and continue your path to enlightenment with us. Thanks for watching.